Hello and welcome to A Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. Well, now that Neil Gorsuch has been sworn in as the new Supreme Court Justice, many of Trump's evangelical supporters will be looking to him to advance the cause of religious liberty. The first test could be next week with the case of a Lutheran preschool in Missouri that was denied state funds to make its playground safer due to a law separating church and state. Well, here to talk more about potential religious liberty showdowns in the High Court is best-selling author David Limbaugh, and his latest book is out, and this week. It's called The True Jesus: Uncovering the Divinity of Christ in the Gospels. And David joins me now. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So this case of the preschool, it seems almost benign, but it is kind of important, right?
Yes. Well, nothing to the left is benign. Nothing to the secular left is benign, and they can't just allow these funds to be used to help a Christian school. It's almost like we not only don't want to use funds to prefer Christian activities, we want to exclude them. So it's like you're discriminating. And you know, the Establishment Clause has been expanded way beyond any intent the framers had. Anything constitutes an endorsement, an establishment of the state over of the Christian religion by the state, and it's just not. And they never intended it to cover these kinds of things.
But is this the chink in the armor of our Constitution? This sort of, kind of sliver where people can kind of create something that it was not meant to create?
Well, our framers also said the Constitution was made only for a moral and just people, and we know that it's only as good as the Supreme Court justices ultimately say it is, because they can say the words don't mean what they say. And if they're the arbiters, and Marbury versus Madison, 1803, established the court judicial review to say what the Constitution means and what the law means. And if you've got people on there who are activists, liberal activists, who don't honor even the English language and twist it into whatever they want it to say, then of course the Constitution doesn't mean what it should mean. It's not that there's a sliver in the Constitution, is that there is a decay in the human condition, and sometimes justices are part of that decay.
Oh my goodness. Well, I have heard from so many people when I talk to people out in various churches or schools or in the public, and they said it feels like there's a witch hunt out there, that if they're not students, teachers, business people, if they're not facing a legal threats for expressing their faith publicly, they're in fear of it. I mean,
no question.
Can a conservative court be the answer to that?
Well, in some cases, even conservative justices, though, when we talk about conservative, they're not politically conservative. They are originalists. They honor the Constitution. They're not judicial activists on the conservative side. They don't declare abortion illegal by fiat, for example. They leave it to the states. They would if they had to vote on it, as it was before Roe versus Wade. But so Gorsuch and the court might decide that truly is an Establishment Clause issue, and if they do, they'll apply their intellectual honesty and rule that way. So I don't know what they're ultimately going to do, because I don't know all the nuances of the case. But we are, as Christians, under threat by the popular culture. I don't mean physical threat, but people feel censored, and we see it with the LGBT issues. They don't just want you to accept them. They want you to embrace, and they want you to be forced to buy, to serve their weddings and that kind of thing. That's not liberty. That's going too far. That's coercion. We just want to be free. We want to be able to exercise our free exercise. There's two religion clauses in the First Amendment, the free exercise and the Establishment Clause. We don't want the Establishment Clause to be interpreted so broadly that it squelches our own free exercise as Christians, and that's what's happened.
I want to get to your book right now, because it is Easter week, and it is the holiest time of the Christian faith,
yes,
the foundation of the Christian faith. And your book really talks about the reliability of the four Gospels. And for most centuries, it really was never questioned. But about 200 years ago, it began to be questioned. But your book says what?
Well, my book is an introduction to the Gospels. I have had 2 books ago, Jesus on Trial. I did my faith journey and apologetics, and described the reliability of the Scriptures. I include that again. The New Testament Scriptures are more reliable than any other ancient text. And there's no question about that. But the bulk of my book is a summation of the Gospels. I want to introduce people to the Gospels, and I think I do that in the same.
And you know, it's interesting because a lot of people really don't understand what the Gospels really are, but they really are the only narrative we have of Jesus' life. And so this is why people kind of focus on it to see if it's actually true or not.
Yes, absolutely. But people, I think the best way to understand that the Gospels are true, despite all the evidence we have for the Christianity's truth claims, Jesus lived, Jesus died and was resurrected. We have abundant evidence for that. But reading the Gospels themselves are the best apologetic, because you will find in reading them and immersing yourself in them with an open heart and an open mind that you're encountering the true living Son of God. And you will know it when you're reading it. No one spoke like he spoke. No one empathized like he empathized. And when you read that, you will grasp you're encountering the living Son of God. And nothing is a substitute for that, including my book. But I hope to point people to the Gospels in my book.
Well, I want to thank you so much, David Limbaugh. The book is called The True Jesus, Uncovering the Divinity of Christ and the Gospels. And we look to you for as source for more information on this religious liberty issues that we're bound to, take on in the next few months.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. And thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching A Spirited Debate.